Hey, y'all, welcome back. So I have one more guest that's going to be coming on. I want you guys to make sure that you are sharing this in your circle of influence. Make sure that you are sharing the petition. There's a petition that is, if you look down, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, in the description, along with a little letter that I wrote to the governor and to the state of Texas. There is a couple of links. So the links that are posted, you have a link to the blog. There's a Free Texas blog where there's been some information that's being shared. Also, there is a link to the YouTube. There's also a link to the change.org petition that we have out, y'all. Please take an opportunity to sign that petition. Just give your opportunity to speak up, allow your voice to be heard. Don't have to be in the state of Texas to speak up. You can be anywhere because, y'all, I'm not in the state of Texas. I am all the way across on the East Coast. But guess what? Something that caught my eye in the state of Texas, and I couldn't just sit by and not do something about it. So, y'all, be that change that you want to see in this world. We've been given the opportunity to be a voice. I'm grateful for this platform. I'm grateful for those that come on and share. Today, we've had this individual on, and every Monday, y'all, this is what we do. Starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. CST time, Central Standard Time. You have the opportunity to hear from some amazing individuals that may have made a mistake. But y'all, a second chance. Some of them are just wanting a second chance, just wanting you to know that, hey, we made a mistake. We did this. But do you have to drag us through the mud? Do you have to treat us so badly? Because the state of Texas is doing their citizens wrong. They are citizens, but you treat them like animals, inhumane. Y'all, I'm telling you, my heart is aching right now of how they're being treated right now in this lockdown. But nevertheless, y'all, this is Prison Awareness Month as well as Suicide Awareness Month. So I'm giving these individuals an opportunity to come on and share with me. Kasey, the floor is yours, sir. How you doing today? How you doing?
Oh, I'm blessed. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you again. Things I want to talk about today is how when you're going through the pro se litigant application and filing, trying to fight your case on your own, and how the court system is really against anyone who has an attorney to represent them. It's hard to fight it when it's on your own, and there are always blockages within the justice system to really give justice to those that deserve it. I'm not I'm not saying that I was right by anything that I've done. No. I'm not saying that I was wrong. I was wrong by the system because the way that they applied the law with injustice towards my situation. So I was reading through the attorneys that they had assigned to me because my trial attorney, once he was assigned to me, another attorney came and took over my case. And the process that they do that with is illegal because he wasn't supposed to be even messing with my case at all. And they have an assignment that they do in the court system when they assign people to your case, and it's called appointment of counsel, and it's under Article 1.03, and it states that once an attorney has been appointed to represent an indigent defendant, the protection provided under the 6th and the 14th and the 26.04 on the Criminal Code of Procedures have been satisfied. Now, that's part of the assignment. Now, when they assign you an attorney, no other attorney can get off your case or accept your case unless the attorney that's on file sign a withdrawal with the court. And then if he sign a withdrawal, he still have to explain why he want to get off your case. That wasn't applied to me. So therefore, the attorney that took over my case, named Charles J. Bunk, he was illegally and pointed to me without going through procedure through the courts, and the judge was at fault by letting this attorney to take over my case the way that he did. He stated that I wouldn't see my trial attorney again, and I never seen that attorney again. And I never have a withdrawal to show that he got off my case, still to this day. And I was just dumbfounded that something like that could happen after I'd done research, because I was ignorant to the law. I had to study these things and find out that this was really something that he couldn't do. He told me that I wasn't going to see this attorney again, that he was the best one for the job, and I've never seen that other lawyer again. I never had gotten a letter explaining why he was taking off my case. So therefore, it tells me that it was already a play being played in the courtroom with an attorney that used to be the head DA in the courtroom. I got my time in. He's friends with the judge. The two DAs that prosecuted my case, he was there. They was their proteges. He taught them how to do their job. During my trial, when I was looking at everything, that he was helping them put together the jury charges, and they was telling him, "Hey Charles, this is the most papers we ever tendered in a proceeding." So when I asked him what was he doing and why was he helping him, he told the bailiff, and the bailiff took me to the back until they prepared all my jury charges. Now, once again, let me state, my trial, they put a gag order from the public. The public couldn't be present in my trial. They also put a gag order from the media. I had a high-profile case. My case wasn't even allowed for the media to see what was going on. So that tells me one thing. There was something of a cover going on, and there was some corruption in the midst of what was going to happen to me. None of the things that they done to me was exposed. Once, I tried to do suicide by cop. It never gave me a psychological evaluation. Yet, when I filed my 1107 challenging my conviction, they allowed the attorney to state that I got the paper, and I got to tell you how it was stated in that, because I don't want to misquote anything. I'm going to tell you exactly how he put it. Instead of my words, I'm going to let you hear his words. And this is what Mr. Charles Bunk said concerning the appeal process towards my case. Because they let them file affidavits disputing my claims that I filed on them. So Mr. Bunk said throughout my representation of Mr. Woodard, at no time did I have any reason to believe that neither psychiatric examination nor psychiatric expert was needed in the case. Okay. And then my appeal lawyer, she states during my appeal that she felt that at no time should she file ineffective assistance counsel on my other lawyer, because the trial courts look down on attorneys that file ineffective assistance counsel on other attorneys. So they had to find her in order to get an affidavit from her, because she kept saying stuff like, because these are not my words, this is what she said. I had every intention to, that means to be present, but then I kept getting sidetracked. Just to be honest, like I set out trying to find whatever information I could about Mr. Woodard. Life kind of got in the way. And then I got sidetracked by Judge Velasquez Gardner again. Picked it up, started to do it. As I mentioned, there was another case in which I did do an affidavit. I got kind of sidetracked. And then the court asked him, and then your phone was turned off. My phone was turned off. So the procedural history are not disputing that the phone calls were made by Mr. Contreras, the coordinator, just simply acknowledging that you never received them because you weren't able to receive them, right? See, this judge giving her a out on why she didn't do her job. And that's the protection clause they give to these attorneys when they're doing wrong to people when they're supposed to be representing them. She said, I don't dispute that she didn't contact me. I was in communication with her. Okay, all right, did this to court. This time I will not address the contempt issue. I do feel like you have given me sufficient reason to act reasonable, at least appreciate why some of these affidavits were not, or this affidavit was not complete, and why you did not respond to these questions. And obviously, through the course of this hearing, I feel like you have adequately responded to them. There's no adequate response to someone that's fighting for his life, and you didn't represent them according to the law. And then you made excuses saying why you didn't do your job. I don't see no fairness in that. I don't see it at all. But they do that. That's the way that the courts protect the lawyers when they do wrong to individuals, and they're allowing them to do it and not doing their job. We're supposed to get representation, but we're not getting representation we're promised to in courts of law. And then they're allowing them to just say anything they want to say in order to get out of the problem. Now, Miss Rodriguez told me, Miss Laura Rodriguez, my attorney, she told me that anything other else in my case was frivolous. She didn't see that I had any merits to fight my case. Now, when I filed my 1107 to fight my case and the merits put out there, they didn't even address that. The courts didn't even address it. What they did, they filed stating that in my case that, I'm trying to find this paper real quick because it explains everything in it. The court's memorandum, they sided with them. They had a hearing, and they stated that they had a hearing on my case. They had it stated on the affidavits of the attorneys. The affidavits of the attorneys that they filed, instead of them filing final fact conclusion of law on what happened in my case on issues that I filed on for the ineffective assistance counsel, they didn't address any of my issues. What they addressed was the affidavits of the lawyer that was assigned to me and the appeal lawyer that was assigned to me. So they stayed away from answering anything concerning the issues of my filing, like the ineffective assistance counsel, lack of experts, didn't have a psychological evaluation, allowing expert testimony by a witness that was a victim of the incident. You allowed due process violation by interfering with the fact finding of filing a supplemental charge to the jury during my trial. The judge allowed violation of the Carver doctrine. They had you go to trial on 7 offenses at one time and didn't elect which one that they would feel was the strongest in order to fight my case. It's just whole variations of the denial of fair practice in the courtroom when you're fighting your case nowadays. And if you're a pro se litigant, your voice is always not going to be seen as proper if you don't have a lawyer representing you. And that's one of the things that the justice system failed to do. They failed to have lawyers assigned to people that have merits, solid merits, who are fighting their cases, and they're not allowing them to do it with representation. Now they supposedly are attaching a lawyer to you now if you file your 1107. But when I was filing mine, that wasn't the case. So you take the word of the lawyers instead of applying the law to the issues. And I had records and documentation that these things was occurring at the time that they occurred. Now, I got assigned a lawyer January 22nd, 2010. Named Alberto Gutierrez. That was my first attorney. Charles Buck, January 25th, he was assigned. But March 1st of 2010 is when he's showing that he was actually my attorney that he was appointed to me by this judge. So I'm looking like this here, that he was my attorney, he was an agent of the state. And being an agent of the state, that means he had no kind of alignment to represent me fully if he wasn't actually supposed to be my attorney in the first place. These are the things that we're facing here in Texas. And right now, I'm still fighting my case. I'm fighting for issues of the indictment, the enhancement allegation. You enhance my charges as an habitual offender and give me 50 years. When in actuality, all I was supposed to be charged was the first-time offender because you had no grounds to enhance my allegations on. But you did it illegally anyway because you could. I don't know about how to do it. My lawyer knew, but he wouldn't tell me or help me during any time of my trial. I go to a trial, and I didn't have not one witness that was testifying on my behalf during an 8-day trial that I had. So how am I going to go through a serious trial facing serious offenses and you don't have not one witness to testify on my behalf? You don't have one expert witness to combat the state expert witness, but you already aligned yourself in this courtroom, setting up the tracks to railroad me to make sure I get convicted and get sentenced to the harsh punishment that I got sentenced to. You allowed the judge, Sharon McCray, to be able to sentence me. You put fear in me when you told me, son, don't allow the jury to sentence you. They're not going to be able to hear the things that the judge hear. I know her. She's a friend of mine. She's going to be more fair and lenient to you. That was a lie. He set me up and they knew what they was going to do. This judge sentenced me harshly and cruelly. When she did it, she sentenced me 50 years when she knows she shouldn't have sentenced me to all that time. But that's what they do. That's what happens to you when you're in a courtroom like that, when it's unfair and when it's rigged against you. And it's hard. It's hard when you're looking at stuff like that, and then you're fighting for your life and thinking that the lawyer's going to help you, and the lawyer's not helping because he probably have another deal that he set up with the state in order to sell you out to give one of his other clients that's paying him a better chance to get sentenced to a lower term. And that's what they do. They run these illegal deals in these courtrooms, and they have this corruption going on, and they align themselves with these fixed attorneys who are making over $100,000 a year because they're in this pay-to-play campaign donation scheme that they got on with these courtrooms. And him being the ex-DA in this courtroom and having already had this alliance with this judge and the two DAs that he taught to do their job, how am I going to get a fair trial? How am I going to be getting things that's a semblance of fairness in their courtroom? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. And that's what they did. And now I'm looking at it right now. It's like I'm 13 years in fighting my case, and I had to buy my records from the state law library because during the process of my 11-7 filing, I found out that the clerk is rubber stamping my case. I'm not even being heard by the justices in my case. They go right along with the same findings that the court had recommended, saying, that denying without writ and order. They denied my relief without writ and order, without even looking at none of the issues that I filed on. You made a hearing and a decision not to give me any type of relief on the merits of the affidavits that was filed disputing my issues that the attorneys that I was filing ineffective assistance counsel on attorneys, and you didn't even hear what I had to say about the complaint about the filing. You ignored all that and made the whole hearing that you had on my writ about the attorney's affidavit. That's not fair. That's not justice. That's ignoring the facts of the issues and really getting around doing the job. So the job was never done to give me any kind of relief. The job was done to make sure that I have these handcuffs and be able to be behind these concrete bars and steel for the time limit that you sentenced me to. That's not justice. That's injustice. And that's what we're facing here right now. And it's a hard case to look at, but it is. It is. There needs to be a reform as far as attorneys being assigned to individuals that got the issues that are credible to prove that these things happen to them. And it's being ignored. It's being ignored by the courts. Because why? I'm a pro se litigant. They call us ex partes, inmate attorneys, writ writers. These are the titles you're giving us, but you're not giving us the relief that's sought when we filing with credible, substantial information and evidence to prove everything that's been done wrongly to us. That's what's heartbreaking to me. You're not being fair. Now, one thing about the justice, they said it's supposed to be with fairness. There's no fairness in this. There's no justice. It's all it is. It's about being harsh. It's being cruel. But for what reason? I made a mistake in the past, but you made my trial about my mistakes instead of what the actual issues. Even though the issues they happened. But there's causes behind the information for the incidents why they happened the way that they did. But you're not looking at these things. All I'm saying is that right now, I believe there needs to be an investigation in San Antonio, in the court system, and with the assigning of attorneys that they got. You violating your own rules, regulations, policies. The judicial committees need to look at the judge, and the Bar Association needs to look at the attorneys about violating other attorneys' client privilege, confidentiality, and they're not doing that. I filed a complaint about this, but they said there was no issue. So after I looked at it and I went and got my information, because I pay for everything that I've got, instead of going to commissary and spending money on the privilege stuff, I'm trying to get my freedom. I saved my money, I filed my records, and I made sure that I'm looking at seeing what happened. Because without proof, you don't know. It's just the hearsay, and that's what they always want to say. You got to have proof from the records, and the records are showing that I didn't get a fair shot at the apple. That I didn't get a fair shot at being seen in the eyes of justice as the law states. The federal and the state law is governed, but I'm not being seen under the same criteria. It's like there's a whole subchapter to keep me and others outside of the loop of being handled with fairness, and that's not right. That is not a right way to treat human beings.
And I call it locked out of the prison system. That's what they're doing. And that's what happens when you have these lawyers that goes on to become assistant district attorneys, that goes on to become district attorney, and then they become appeal court judges. And then you are trying to fight people that put you where you are. And of course, they're not going to give you any relief because they have you right there where they want to. If they were going to give you relief, you wouldn't be there. And it's sad because there are thousands and thousands of people like yourself behind these prison walls that have been wrongfully and overly incarcerated. It's time for the state of Texas to wake up. It's time for the citizens of Texas to stand up. And it's time for those that have caused these wrongfully and unjustly sentences to be held accountable. And they're going to have to go back and they're going to have to open up some of these cases and look at some of these cases. Okay, you failed. Find out where you failed at. Correct those errors and move on, because you can make right those things that you have wronged. You still have time to correct those errors. These people can still live what life they have left, but you have to give them the opportunity to have a second chance. Make up for those things that you have wronged in their lives. So I'm challenging the state of Texas, those that are holding these official offices. If you are an elected official in the state of Texas, y'all need to be coming together and figuring out how can y'all regroup and how can y'all turn this state around, because right now y'all are looking really, really sad. And these is coming from people that are not in the state of Texas, that are trying to help these people wake up and realize that this is not how the judicial system works. This is not how the government is supposed to be working. This is not how the prison system should be ran. I'm saddened by now this current lockdown that you guys are under and how they are feeding you guys, and definitely want to see how your mental is. How are you doing mentally and how are you doing physically? Because I know this lockdown with everything else that goes on behind prison wall cannot be easy right now.
Oh, I got a story for you to tell you about this. Me myself, I'm gluten free, so I'm supposed to have a special diet. Well, this morning they give me a slice of cheese, one slice of cheese on a corn tortilla, and a spoonful of peanut butter and jelly on another corn tortilla. That's what I got for breakfast. And sometimes I don't even get that for breakfast because they don't fix it. But in the evening, they trying to do better, but it's still the same thing. The Johnnies are not working. It's not working. This is something that is nutritionally deficient. It's not wholesomely appealing. It's not going to fulfill you wholesomely. It's not. It's like you take a little styrofoam coffee cup and you put half of a scoop, an ice cream scoop, to the half of the cup, and you feed this to a grown man with a peanut butter sandwich. It does dabbed with a spoonful of peanut butter and jelly in the middle. And then you take ground meat and you putting it into another sandwich to give someone. You feeding grown men meals and expect them to get a nutritional value from that, and they're not. There's no vitamin intake in that. There's nothing that you're going to be having to be able to sustain. Your body is going to try to hold on to that. You can't even take a proper bowel movement with that deficiency, because your body's going to hold on to as much as it can. And it's sad. That's what it is. You go to sleep in hunger pains. If you don't have family members that's helping you out, assisting you, put money in your account where you can go to the store. But you can't go to the store and spend money when you're on lockdown. And if you didn't go and you're on lockdown, you don't have nothing to eat. Yeah, I mean, it's us managing a situation that's unmanageable, and it's hard. It's hard, especially being locked in one situation in extreme heat. The heat is another thing. Just to be in one spot and circulating hot air over and over and over again. But where's the cold compliant officer to check the temperature of the heat? We don't even have that.
Wow.
There is a lie that's being told to society constantly on a daily basis that these things are being handled accordingly and that nothing is happening. Yeah, they right, nothing is happening. They're not doing the job they're supposed to be doing in order to make sure that we're safe, we're healthy, and that we're going to be all right. I got high blood pressure. I was borderline diabetes. Thank God that I defeated that part, having A1C from 12.9 to get it back to 6.9. I did that by just reading and learning about what I can do for myself to help myself. So, like I said, these are the things that we face here, and I'm just asking any state representative, 120 District, Barbara Garvin Hawkins, she's the state representative in San Antonio, and the NAACP to get an investigation going on what's happening to us in prison, what's happening in the courtrooms in Bexar County. We need help. And my name again is Kasey Woodard. If anyone wants to contact me, you can do it through the JPay system, through Securious. And I appreciate your time that you give me, Miss Angela. And my number is 168-3459. And I appreciate you. Thank you for all you're doing for Texas. Thank you for your compassion and the way you deliver things to us. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to have someone like you fighting for us. And I just hope other people can just step into your shoes and do the things as well that need to be done to stop what's happening in Texas. Thank you.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you for using.
Well, I hope that
Goodbye.
something that have been shared on here today have touched somebody, and that somebody will say it's time for us to stand together, be a voice, and allow our voices to be heard. I want to encourage you guys to share these reels, to share these videos, go over, subscribe to the YouTube. Make sure that you sign the petition, share the petition, sign it, allow your voice to be heard. If you are someone that has someone incarcerated or locked up, um, I am going to be doing a panel discussion on the 27th, and I need some individual that want to come on and share. If you're out there and would like to be a part, please join me. This is an opportunity that where we can speak our voice and speak to these representatives, speak to these state officials, and let them know how we feel. So I encourage you guys to get involved. Go follow, like, share Free Texas Campaign. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on U42. We're on all major platforms where podcasts are shared, because we're trying to be a voice. So I thank you guys for all your support. The Queen loves you. And I will see you guys back here on next Monday. Y'all, when I come back, I will be a grad. I will be a grad. Love you guys. Be blessed.